catchy tune.
What a great song.
It is a great song.
I like the piano part.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Okay. Hey. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday night offering of Astronomy Outreach for May the 15th, a Sunday night astronomy show.
Yay.
Oh, come on. Hip, hip. Okay. Okay. Well, my name is Chris Kerwin, and I'm the creator of the social media channels known as Astronomy by the Bay, and I'm an amateur astronomer and a member of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada, the New Brunswick chapter. First of all, I'd like to welcome back my two regular co-hosts, fellow RAS member Mr. Paul Owen from the Moon Shadow Observatory in beautiful Hampton, New Brunswick. Hey, Paul.
I'm downtown tonight, so.
Oh, you are. That's right.
Yeah.
That's downtown Hampton. Yeah. Okay.
Well, no, it's not, because in Hampton there's clouds, so I decided
True
to go
enough.
someplace where there's clear sky. So
That's good
you can
stuff.
see there's stars behind me, so I'm
stuff.
getting the eclipse tonight.
You are.
It's definitely not downtown St. John.
Somebody's getting the eclipse. Okay. And I'd like to welcome back our other co-host from this. Our other co-host.
Udder.
Fellow RAS member, Mr. Mike Powell from the Moon Shadow Observatory here in St. John, New Brunswick.
PFO.
Oh, I'm sorry, PFO Observatory. Yeah. What am I doing? He's from PFO. Yes. Wow. Okay. Long day, guys.
A year and a half. A year and a half we've been doing it.
Does somebody else want to do this? Because I'm happy to. Okay. On tonight's episode, when learning about the night sky or while trying to keep updated on what's happening, each of us turns to resources that might help. Tonight we'll discuss some of our favorite web resources, some sites that you can use to help you on your journey, and we hope that you'll share some of your favorite sites as well, because I'm sure you've had some. So let's take a look. Okay. Also tonight, Binal Bud returns with another favorite binocular target to enjoy.
If you have the weather to see it.
Yeah. And Mike will return with another Macgyver DIY idea as well for astronomy. Paul will be here with his interesting fun facts, Rosanna's Fun Facts segment. And he'll provide us with the newest astrophotography tip of the week, clearing up questions about stacking and noise. Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
And even though local weather won't cooperate, we'll reveal a little bit about what's expected tonight with our lunar eclipse and other celestial events in our What's Up This Week segment tonight. And we'll have all of your wonderful photo submissions, of course, to share as well. Now, this is the family-friendly interactive live broadcast. So for those of you joining us from my YouTube channel or from Facebook page, we are happy to try and answer all of your astronomy questions here in real time as well. And of course, we'd like to welcome all of those who have been joining us through the local Rogers TV channel network. So let's get started with tonight's program and a discussion around some of our favorite website resources. Good evening, everybody on Facebook and YouTube. I see all the names popping in here, some familiar ones and some not so familiar, but we'd like to welcome you all here anyway, so that's great. Okay, let's get started a little bit then with some website resources, guys. So I know that I've been, over the years, I guess the last 15 years now, collected a number of sites that I thought, were popular and maybe that have helped me out when I put posts up on my Facebook page or YouTube channel or Instagram or whatever. I try to go back and take a look at what other people are talking about, especially when I do the What's Up This Week talk, because you get a lot of different takes on what's up this week. And sometimes, like a week like this week coming up, the only thing that's really happening, the number one thing really, of course, is the lunar eclipse happening somewhere, but not here. But so the rest of the events I have to kind of scramble a little bit to put together the What's Up talk. It can take over an hour just to put that talk together, just to find out what's going on where. So there are a few websites that I try to visit on a regular basis. Some of them have great videos on them as well, so they'll get to share stuff like that. Other ones are just places where we might go to look for equipment. So we talked about this, I guess, just beforehand. So I'm going to open up a presentation here. Just with some slides on. You guys, please chime in here whenever you want along the way. Don't let me stop you. We'll take a look at some of the resources that we've kind of find interesting, I guess, or maybe appropriate. Let me take this now over to this screen. And I'm going to go to our presenter view. There. So just some resources on the web. Okay, I kind of started out with St. John Astronomy Club. And if I can take us there, this might take us there. I'm hoping it will. That's not a good start, is it?
Let's go right to the site.
That's what I'm going to try to do now. Let's open up another tab. Because this site is the one that I visit a fair amount as well, even just for resources myself, but for you, there's lots of resources there. So here's the site. And that's Mr. Owen's picture there at the top. But anyway, across the site itself, we've got our homepage, and here's about some upcoming events, outreach events, newsletters, all that kind of stuff. This is what current events that are happening right now. Of course, the lunar eclipse tonight. Down the side here, we have the sky at a glance views of what's coming up in the night sky this week. There's all kinds of useful links down here on the side, time and date, heavens above, planetaries, weekly sky at a glance, all those kind of links down the left-hand side. Farther down the page, we have useful apps that you can use. Then we've got library and resources available. This guy here, whatever he's doing. Star parties, when they take place around the province. Members' contributions. So Mike has contributed some stuff here, and Paul and Kurt. So there's all kinds of talks and everything in here as well. So there's a wealth of information on this site, more so than I can even imagine. I think any site would have. Any other astronomy site that I've seen anyway. So there's lots and lots here to take a look at and to review. So that would be one of my best resources, I would suggest anyway. You guys?
So if somebody wants to go to that site and they're not from here, what's the address?
Right there at the top, sjastronomy.ca.
.ca, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. From there, I guess I was on this other slide. Let me hang on a sec. I'll stop presenting and I'll have to go back to presenting again. Go back to my slideshow. Okay. Why isn't that presenting properly?
Next slide.
Yeah, next slide. Next slide. Thank you. Okay. rascnb.ca. That's the society that we belong to, the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada, the New Brunswick chapter. We have our list of star parties here as well. And so there's a fair amount of information on that page too, learning how to join RASC, what it's all about. Our events and meetings are posted here. We're now a charitable organization as well. I can announce that, I guess. So that should be helping us out down the road somewhere. But rascnb.ca is a division of the RASC Canada. It's our local branch. So St. John Clear Sky Chart. Well, just the Clear Sky Chart. For my case, is St. John. This is one I visit, of course, quite often, even tonight. Look at this nice white stuff. That white stuff means clouds. Transparency is no transparency, all clouds, and then seeing conditions, white is poor. So we're not going to get any chance of lunar eclipse tonight. But I go here and visit it fairly often, and if the lines are blue, then dark blue is best for all these listings. Darkness, of course, is just going to be blue when it is dark out. Smoke, when it's blue like that, there's no worry about smoke, and when the wind is really low, it's in dark blue over there. So everything dark blue is always the best. So the Clear Sky Chart. So if you go to Clear Sky Chart and just look for your city there, you can bring it up and store that one for yourself.
Also on that too, Chris, if you go down the page, I don't know if you're just
no, I just have a caption. Yeah.
When you do go on this site, you could just put in your local city. So wherever you're from, just type in, say for example, if you were from Toronto Clear Sky Chart, and it'll go right to your area and give you your current conditions. But when you go down into that site, it'll tell you what each and every one of those categories are and how they assess them and what they actually mean. Because a lot of people don't understand the difference between transparency and seeing, and what does seeing mean, and what does that mean to me as an observer? what does that mean to me with a big telescope, with a small telescope. All of that stuff is explained on that particular site. And again, not just the St. John one, but any one of them, because they're all the same, just with different locations. So it's a really good source to learn a lot of stuff, but especially to learn how to read that chart properly. So
another neat thing about that chart as well is if you own an observatory, you can go to, there's a link on there that you can send him, tell him what the coordinates are of your observatory, and he will add it to the list of cities and observatories that you can view what the night sky is going to look like, or the clear sky chart for your observatory is right down to the square meter in your backyard. My observatory is actually on there. If you type in search PFO, it'll show up.
yeah.
You can add that, and he will do it for you free of charge.
That's awesome.
He's an amazing fella. The St. John Astronomy Club is right on there.
Yeah. Do I have to keep stopping that and presenting again? I think I do.
Yeah.
Just a second. There we go. Okay, here we are. We're back. Okay. Okay, yeah, so that's a good resource. Here's another one called Astrospheric. This is one that I use as an app on my phone, but I know that they have a website as well. Here's our map tonight.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that. 5 ISS passes tonight, too.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 5. Look at that. Yeah, so we'll show the ISS passes that night. We've got a few nice ones actually coming out this week. But here's the weather forecast. All white. So in this case, it's all cloud. But it's a great site to visit too. This one can contradict maybe sometimes the clear sky chart, and there are other ones out there but you can kind of get a gist of what's going to happen. Maybe if you just look out the window, look kind of like this, like there, like that's the one I go to the most because it's not going to lie to you. That's a satellite in space.
That's a satellite. That's telling the truth.
That's telling the truth. So there's us in real time right there. That's just an hour ago. So we've got all this to deal with for the next couple of days, but. Some other parts of the country have a chance. Toronto and them, I guess, are going to get a chance tonight. So,
yeah.
What's that?
Lucky them.
Lucky them, yeah. Cloudynights.com. That's another resource that I use a lot. In here, there are tons of people. Like there are people here that have actually posted over 10,000 replies to comments and stuff. They live on it, but anything that you're trying to learn, somebody's already done it. I guess that's what I'm trying to get to. So if you're looking for an answer for a question that you have, you can go in here. There are many different categories. There's just the announcements page, but then you can get into optics and binoculars, bino viewers, cats and casses, classic telescopes, all kinds of stuff. And there's 449,000 replies to questions, right? So 16,000 topics. You can spend days in there easy, but you can find the answer to what you're looking for. There's no doubt. Somebody's got the answer for you.
The classified ads on that site are incredible too.
Yes, that's right. Yes. And celestial events. So here's the celestial events category. And like here's just a sample of the beginners one. Okay. So best of beginners forums and help buy my first used telescope. Perfect topic right there. New to stargazing. So all kinds of ideas there. That's called cloudynights.com, which we get a lot of. So. This one's called spaceweather.com. Probably a lot of you have been there. This is one I go to take a look at the sun, today's sun. It'll explain a little bit about what's happening on the sun, sunspots. It'll tell them whether you're going to have a C-class flare, an M-class flare, X-class flare, whatever. Here, the main article tonight, of course, is about the lunar eclipse. But I go in here fairly often to take a look at what the sun's doing if I'm going to go out and do some solar observing. This one's earthsky.org, another site that has all kinds of updates on what's happening in space. Lots of great topics. If you want to go in here and type the word Antares star, it'll give you a whole spiel of somebody who wrote an article about the star Antares. So you can find lots of data about different topics in there. Sky News, another one, that's our Canadian astronomy magazine. So that one gets delivered to your door if you become a RASC member. It's a bi-monthly issue. So lots of topics in here too, but it's all has a Canadian spin on it too, so it's kind of nice. The start party dates are listed there. Paul, you've been doing work with Sky News on subs and stars, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They're a great resource for a lot of things. but they do support Canada. They just did a magazine, a couple of them, I think last month or the month before, on places to go in Canada, dark sky sites and all that kind of stuff. So it's a good magazine, but it covers everything. It really does.
Okay. Good to hear. Okay. Sky and Telescope, that's another popular one. I'll go in here a lot, look at this week's Sky at a glance when I'm putting together my WhatsApp talk. I'll go in here, see what's happening throughout the week. But there's lots of categories in there too. Talks about observing, what to use, astrophotography, celestial guides, all kinds of stuff, stargazing basics. So you can really get lost in a lot of these sites. You can get in there for hours. The Noaa Space Weather Prediction Center. This is one I offer a lot when I'm looking at aurora. I want to find out what's happening with aurora. We did visit this site a number of times throughout the winter. Of course, the aurora chances are lower right now, but I guess for farther north because they're into full daylight mode now. But for us, we still might have an opportunity. So I keep an eye on this one, see what's happening from alerts, from the space weather conditions. This is where I get my 3-day forecast, that kind of thing. So that's a very popular site. One I use a lot. Another one I use a lot is Hubble Site, which gives me a lot of videos. So if I'm looking at what's going to happen this month, they give a really nice video on what's happening for the month. Not especially celestial events, but more about what constellations are up and what targets are in those constellations, that kind of thing. But it's just full of videos. Hubble has done an amazing amount of videos. NASA, of course, you have to pick up NASA with all the missions that are going on and where they're all at, what's happening with them all. That's another site you can get lost in for hours. Space.com, another trending site that deals a lot about space and current topics about space. Astro Buy Sell. If you're looking for a telescope and you want to buy new or used, this is probably one of the sites we suggest that you visit quite often if you are looking for something. At the top of the site, if you go to astrobuysell.com, at the top of the site are the local or the Canadian, I'll say, mostly Canadian anyway, astronomy stores. So we've got ConScope, Ontario Telescope, KW Telescope, Telescopes Canada, a number of them in here. Various reviews on them. You can go online, check reviews on the companies, but they're all pretty reputable. I guess most of them anyway. Down past that list, you get into the used items. So here's a guy that's selling a Farpoint Astro 2-inch laser collimator kit. That goes on for pages and pages and pages. You can actually go to a search button and search, just type telescope or type eyepiece, and it'll bring up the items that are there. Now, most of the people that have bought on here, anyone I bought it from on here, has been the very best. I've never had any issues with them, and you can report them if you pay the money, you don't get your item, that kind of thing. So, best PayPal, I guess, probably the best way to pay sometimes. But there are lots and lots of items in here that are for sale, and you can get good used deals. I mean, you don't have to buy new when you're buying equipment, right, guys?
No.
90% of my stuff comes off that page.
Yeah.
What's good about that is you can go to the local retailers, say in Canada. If you look at the top of the page, for those folks who are tuning in from the UK or from Australia, that site is also available in your local market. But what it does, it allows you to see what's going on, what the current cost of something is in your market. And then when you go down to look at the used section, then you can really see what kind of a deal you're getting. What kind of a price is this? Is this a good price? That kind of stuff. And then you can compare it. You can go to the top sites and get all the information if you want to. And then, of course, just go down into and you can look at if you want to, pursue a deal, that kind of thing. You can do it. But it's just a good resource for learning about stuff. And is this in fact a good enough deal for me to go for it? Then you get all kinds of resources to check it.
Awesome. So if anybody out there has any suggestions for their favorite sites, please post them here. I'm watching comments. I see one here. Jay Legier said the Sky Tour podcast is interesting as well on Sky and Telescope. So that's a great one to know. Thank you for that. Anybody else has a favorite, just post them up here, or I'm trying to go through them as we go through the show here. So final one I probably say would be Kijiji. Check on Kijiji and just type telescopes, hobbies and crafts. New Brunswick, there was 3 or 4 telescopes in there tonight. There's actually an 8-inch Dob in there right now for $500 used, so that's a pretty good price.
A good deal now when you see the new ones.
Yeah. That's right. They're over $800 Canadian now for a new 8-inch Dob. So And also, I mean, Facebook Marketplace, that's another place to search for. These are a few that were on there tonight. Little AR 105 there for $420 in Fredericton, so not a bad deal with the mount.
Yeah.
That mount alone, the Explorer Scientific mount, is almost that price. So
They're selling it $450 used.
yeah. So there you go. So that's about. So here's the list of ones that I had just talked about. So sjastronomy.ca, the clear sky chart, Environment Canada for the satellite shot, for your local forecast, spaceweather.com, skynews.ca. This is the Noaa website. Then, of course, you have NASA, Astro by Cell, Kijiji and Facebook Marketplace, rasknb.ca, Astrospheric, Cloudy Nights, earthsky.org, Sky and Telescope, HubbleSite.org, space.com, and Ivan's Camera, who's a dealer out of Moncton who does sell telescopes as well. So if you didn't want to pay for shipping, you might want to check him out to see if he has anything on there. So I'll just pause on that screen just for a few seconds. If somebody wants to take their phone and snap a picture of it, great. Any other ones, guys, that you guys wanted to add? I guess, Mike, you had a few that you wanted to add, right? So,
I got 3 up that are not on your list that I use quite a bit.
okay, so let me get out of this end, and I'll close that right there, I think. I'll stop presenting. And I'm going to screen back to you, sir. Yep.
Entire screen. This one. The first one it's a NASA.gov site, but it's the SOHO. So I've been photographing sunspots lately. The activity's picking up. So I go right to the SOHO site. If anybody's watching the sun, it's SOHO, the Solar and Heliospheric Observatory. And that comes through NASA.com at nasa.gov. But that shows you today's sunspots and orientation. And it gives you an idea how big those sunspots are compared to the Earth and Jupiter down here, if you look. So, and then 10 Earths wide is that line. That is the one site when I'm processing my solar pictures that I go to say, okay, how do I orient my photos to get them right? The second one I like to use is this one. It's called moongiant.com. And it's just the moon phases of the day. And of course, you can see May 16th, we're coming up with 100% full moon, which is our eclipse. But that's one I go to just to find out what the moon phases are. And then my third one, this one's kind of neat. If you might find it interesting. It's the Iss Transit Finder that you would never think of. In your area, if you want to find out if the ISS is going to transit the sun or transit the moon, or where can I go to get a photograph or even just view the ISS transiting the sun or the moon, this is a spot. So if I hit auto detect, it puts in basically my longitude and latitude, today's date up to, say, June 4th, and I got an 80-kilometer radius. I hit calculate, and it takes me to this. Now, this is the sun, and this is how close the ISS is coming to it from my backyard. Now, just to show you, here's the moon on Friday, the 20th. It's a close pass of the moon. And if I click on show me on the map, guess what? It shows my backyard. That blue line is the transit path. So if you're anywhere on that blue line, you'll watch the ISS transit the moon. So if you zoom in, you can see that's the location it shows for me. And almost, Paul, you're real close to being able to watch that transit on the 20th. And see the ISS go across in front of the moon. That is a really cool piece of software. And it allows you, if you want to go for a drive somewhere and find out, where can I set up in order to catch it? And it tells you the exact time it's crossing. This transit's going to be at 2 o'clock in the morning and 20 seconds and whatever, right? So it's pretty cool. So here's the ISS going close to the sun, which you're not going to see. But if you want to find out where it's actually transiting the sun, there's where I live, and there's where I should go to catch it transiting across the center of the sun. So it tells you where to line up and find a spot, and you'll catch that in your photograph. It is the coolest thing.
Yeah, it is cool.
That's just the 3 I wanted to show. So
awesome. Yeah, that is a cool one. Thanks, Mike. Oh, there was one other one I'm going to just add because I should have, I guess, but and it's kind of a popular one. That's the only reason. But it's this Heavens Above.
Yeah, that's a good site.
So yeah, so you've got down this, you've got Live Skyview. Starlink passes, all the Starlink passes, the ISS passes, the daily predictions for priority satellites. Then you get into comets and planets and solar system chart, asteroids, constellation, all kinds of stuff. So that's a very popular site, a whole lot of stuff in there. So if I just clicked on ISS, for example, this will give me the number of ISS passes that are going to pass over my location in the next 2 weeks. So that kind of stuff. Lots there to talk about, guys. Anything else you want to add, Paul?
Just one,
Yep.
and it's called Telescopius.
Okay.
And I'll just show it to you there. Give me 1 second. I'm not going to go through all of it. I'll just show you where it is and kind of what it does. So if you're interested in imaging or even observing, this is more for imaging, but it's called Telescopius Astronomy Planning Made Easy. So what it does, it gives you the best targets where they are in the sky. The night where you are, you put in your coordinates right here, St. John, what's in the sky tonight, and it'll show you the targets, tell you all about what they are. It'll show you the transit times, in other words, where they're going to hit the meridian at the highest point, when's the best time to see them. So you can really plan if you just want to observe or image, you can plan on whatever you want to do for targets up there. They have telescope simulators, so you can plug in your coordinates or your specifications on your equipment to see what your field of view is going to be and how it's going to look. It's got iTelescope sites, so there's 20 plus internet controlled telescopes if you want to go online and look through a telescope somewhere in the world besides your place, that kind of thing. Anyway, that's just a real brief description of it. You can load it on your computer. You can get it the app and have it on your iPhone. So if you're out in the run of the night and you want to look at a few things, you can do it all right from Telescopius is what it's called, telescopius.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul. Joey Craswell hinted in here, one called Astronomy Tools.
Yeah.
Would be a good one. And also we've got another comment here from Jay Legier. There's 365 Days of Astronomy, or another one called Actual Astronomy, I guess.
I'll have to look that one up.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good start then, I guess, for website resources. And if anybody has any others that they'd like to add, just keep adding them here. I'm watching them as we go through the broadcast here. So we'll stop with that part of the talk, and we're going to go on now to a Bino Bud talk. How's that?
Bino Bud. All right, he should be up on our screen.
He is.
He is.
Oh, binocular target of the week by Bino Bud this week is the Eiffel Tower.
I can't wait.
I can't. So the Eiffel Tower, or Pharaoh 6, is thus named because its tapered form is reminiscent of this famous cultural icon. It's composed of 16 stars, magnitude 8.2 and fainter, and the brightest one is deep yellow. How do I find it in the sky? Well, if you, not tonight because it's not cooperating with us, but at 10 o'clock, roughly, anytime this week, if you go outside and orient yourself 30 degrees north-northeast and look up, you're going to find Mizar and Alcor and the Big Dipper of the handle. And the second star, it's the second star in. You want the two stars in the center of the handle. They make an equilateral triangle. And guess what? It's just above the two of them, right dead center. So if you look here, there's Mizar and Alcor. There's the third star in the handle. It almost goes up and makes a perfect triangle to the Eiffel Tower.
Oh,
And trust me, when you put your binoculars up there, you will see the Eiffel Tower. It's going to be upside down, but hey, who's upside down? Us or Australia, right? What will you see? Well, hopefully you're going to see something like this. You see they come down to a point and then they taper off. And then it comes like a big V for us in the condition. But that's the view that you should be able to see. In 10 by 50 binoculars, it's actually pretty big. You can see here where it comes down to a point and then V's back. So it looks like a big V to us, but it's the Eiffel Tower is what it got nicknamed. Compared to the full moon, it's at least the size of the full moon. So it's a fairly large object. You'll be able to spot it easy enough in binoculars. And it does stand out. You'll notice that big V from our perspective. And guess what? Aliens don't believe in us either. And if you haven't noticed, that's a T-shirt I'm wearing tonight that was given to me by my sisters as a gift.
Yeah, I saw that. I love it.
I can say, there it is. And I told them I was going to show it. So
Awesome.
that's Binocular Target of the Week by Bino Bud.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Another great one.
Indeed.
Eiffel Tower.
Okay, we're going to go from there to Paul's Astrophoto Tip of the Week.
All right. So this is for anybody who's taking pictures and imaging something that's deep sky oriented. The moon and the sun and the planets are all very bright. You're going to get your images quickly. You're going to get them fast, and you don't really have to worry about trying to draw out things out of blackness. So so this pertains more to deep sky imaging, like nebulas and galaxies and things like that. Now, what I'm going to talk about tonight is just very briefly the importance of when you're out taking the time to set up and shoot your images. Make sure you shoot lots of them because if you don't, you're going to run into a fair bit of noise in your images. And I'm just going to go ahead and show you share my screen first, and then I'll explain it. All right, so so basically what's happening is when you take your images, here's a single frame. Now, what I'm going to show you are images of the Rosette Nebula, and these ones I shot in narrowband. So I'm just going to show you the hydrogen alpha one on this particular example. So this is a portion of, I'll roll that out so you can see what you're actually looking at. There's the Rosette, but I want to zoom in nice and close because I want you to have a look and see what it looks like with just one subframe. And so this is just a portion of the nebula, but look at all the noise that's in there. So if you just take one picture of, and this is a 5-minute image, by the way, with a narrowband filter. If you take just one picture, you can see what you shot, yes, but is it great? No. It's just too much noise in that photograph to do anything with. And this is why we take multiple pictures over and over and over, because we want to increase our signal to noise. So that is our just a single frame. Let's look at that same thing with 10 frames. So here's the same image. Let me just get back to the same orientation. Just bear with me for a second and I'll orient these properly. There we go. And I'm just going to move these so I can see them side by each, so to speak. There we go. And then I'll make them so you can see. There we are. Okay. And they're both 2:1. Okay, so if you look at one image and look at the other, I don't know if you can see it on your screen, but it's sure shooting, I can see it on mine. You look how much cleaner just going to 10 subframes from just one. Look how much less noise there is and how much more signal there is. So that's quite a difference. So that's just taking 10 pictures, 10 5-minute pictures, and this is what you have. Let's look at it when we look at 23 pictures. So there's the one sub. There's 10 subs, and there's the 23. I'm going to zoom in a little closer. So you can see there's all kinds of noise there. There's still all kinds of pockets in this nebulosity that you really can't see very clearly. But when you look at it on this one, it's considerably more. Let's go back to 4:1. There we go. So you can see that it's a lot cleaner. It's a lot sharper. And on top of that, it's also brighter. So again, and the reason it's brighter is because you're collecting photons, you're collecting light. The more light you collect, the more signal you have, the less noise you have, the better your picture is going to be. So that's one reason for collecting lots and lots of subframes. The second one is this. Now I'm just going to just shrink these down and get them out of the way. And this next one is from the same target, but using oxygen 3. And here is 6 subframes stacked. Now, when you stack your frames, you have to also understand that there are algorithms that go along with the amount of pictures that you're taking. So the more pictures that you take, the better algorithm you have to stack. And what I mean by that is if I take anything more than, say, 5 or 6 pictures, I'm going to put them into what they call sigma clipping. So if you go to your deep sky stacker, or in my case, Photoshop, whatever you stack with, there are algorithms that are built in there designed for you to get the optimum from the amount of frames that you actually took. So I want to show you something very important on this one. And I'm just going to stretch that so you can see it. Some people will look at that and say, I have to throw that away because look, there's a satellite that went through my picture. I don't want that satellite in my photograph. Well, through the beauty of, or through the ingenuity rather, of stacking frames, you can actually eliminate that, A, if you have enough frames, and B, if you choose the proper algorithm to stack them with. Let me show you what happens if you don't. So here's an image of the same image. This is just a single frame. We saw a satellite go through it. So if I only took 6 images and stacked them up, and I put it into what they call a percentage algorithm instead of the sigma clipping, you can still see a satellite still going through it. So I could not eliminate it there. So you say, well, sigma clipping is supposed to eliminate all these things that fly through your image, airplanes, satellites, all that kind of stuff. So let's look at the same thing. This one is the sigma clipping. Here's one using percentile. And as you can see, again, only 6 images, and I still was unable to clear that satellite trail. So a couple of things are going to happen. You're going to either have to try to figure out how to clear that out, or you're going to have to drop that frame and throw it away. But you don't want to throw away images, especially if you're only taking a few. So here's the same image with 20 frames using sigma clipping, and you can see that satellite is totally gone. I've got better signal to noise, I got a brighter picture, I got a stronger image, and I've gotten rid of those satellite trails. So there's the 2 reasons that you want to shoot more subs than few. And on top of that, when you're actually processing, when you start adding color, when you start adding contrast, when you start doing all of these things, the more signal you have to work with, the more you can be aggressive with all those adjustments that you want to make. So that is my astrophotography tip of the week.
Awesome, Paul. Great tip. Great tips, sir. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Okay, maybe we'll go from there to where are we at now? About 8:40, I guess. So let's go from there to a quick what's up talk, because there's not a whole lot going on this week, but we'll take a look at what is there anyway. I can just find it here. I got 15 windows open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 windows open. And I got to open my 14th one here. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, so let me share my screen first of all. This one. And oh, that's the wrong screen to share. Stop presenting that one. One of them days.
Renat wants to know if you can make the cloud noise go away tonight, Paul.
Yeah. This one.
That was good, but you're muted.
Oh, yeah. Who's muted? Paul?
Yeah.
Sorry, my mic was off.
Okay, what's up this week? And here we go. Nice big tease. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got to mention it anyway. So tonight, of course, total lunar eclipse. For those North America who may experience clear skies, you'll be treated to a total lunar eclipse. And depending on your location, it will appear at different times. Total lunar eclipse occurs when the moon passes within the Earth's shadow. In this case, both the fainter shadow and the darker shadow that we cast into space. So I'm going to pass through both of them. Actually, it's just one shadow, but sunlight hitting our day side refracts through our atmosphere with the red wavelengths extending farthest out into space, and they reflect off the moon as it enters our shadow. So totality here extends for about 80 minutes. That's locally. Here's your lunar eclipse map for the evening. So who's going to get it at what time? This is when it starts totality. So it starts totality at 12:29 in our area. Montreal, of course, 11:29. Then we work our way west. In Vancouver, it's at 8:29 p.m., but it's visible at 8:44 p.m. So it's when it comes up, it's already eclipsing. So and very little of it up in Whitehorse. But anyway, that's the map across the country. Hopefully you've got clear skies where you are. There are a few live feeds that I've picked up that I'll be posting here in a minute or two for people who may be offering it. So all week, of course, the next thing is the Morning Planet Show continues, and to look to the east, southeast all week to continue to enjoy the Morning Planet Show. The show continues into next month when Mercury will join the planet lineup. So we still got a nice show there. Jupiter and Mars are getting closer to a conjunction shortly. Venus is actually drifting farther down towards the horizon. Saturn's kind of hanging off by itself over there. Monday, the moon rises with Antares. So tomorrow evening, look to the east to watch our waning gibbous moon rise with the red giant star Antares and Scorpius. Now, Antares is about 550 light years from Earth and is the brightest star in the constellation of Scorpius. Now, if you could hold our sun and Antares side by side, you'd find Antares more than 11,000 times brighter than our sun. That's invisible light. In all the different spectrums of light, it's actually about 75,000 times brighter. And with about 680 times the diameter. So that means that if Antares could be placed where our sun is now, its surface would extend out past the orbit of Mars.
That's big.
That's big. She's a red giant. Big red. Wednesday, May the 18th, Mars passes Neptune. So early Wednesday morning, check out Mars as it passes near Neptune. From our point of view, Neptune is more than 30 times farther away from the sun than Earth. So the view will show Neptune just as a soft disk, unlike the point of light of a star. That's about what you'll see through any telescope. So it'll just appear like a soft ball, basically. Since it orbits the sun much slower than us, though, it'll remain in the morning sky along with the other planet that requires optical aid, Uranus, for some time. Now, while you're checking out the view with the scope, look slightly to the west for Comet 22P Cop. It's at a magnitude 11.8 right now, visible as a small fuzzy patch in an 8-inch or larger telescope. So there are lots of comets up there, but they're a little hard to pick out at the moment. There's nothing big coming our way in the next little while anyway that we found. Saturday, Mercury is at inferior conjunction. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means that Mercury is between us and the sun. So next Saturday, Mercury is at inferior conjunction. This means that Mercury is between us and the sun. Of course, we won't be able to see it directly, but that can happen if Mercury was in the same plane as us, which happens about 13 times a century. We call that a transit. So Mercury's orbit around the sun is tilted at about a 5 degree or so, or 10 degree angle. And when it passes through those nodes, like we talk about with the solar eclipse, and if it's lined up with us, then we'll actually watch a transit pass across the face of the sun. So that happens about 13 times a century. What it means for us, though, is that Mercury will soon grace our morning sky. So it's up behind the sun, or in between us and the sun right now, and in June it'll be lining up with the rest of the planets in our morning sky. All the planets will be in our morning sky in June. Now Sunday, May 22nd, next Sunday, the moon greets Saturn. Look to the east-southeast next Sunday morning for a view of the third quarter moon as it greets the ring beauty Saturn in our early morning sky. Over the next few days after Sunday, the moon will grace the early morning sky, visiting each of the planets. So it'll form over here on Monday, then here on Tuesday, where it's going to make a nice triangle between Jupiter, Mars, and the crescent moon, just like it did this month. Or last month. And ISS passes for the next week. Well, we've got a few, these are local from that website, heavensabove.com. I go in there, I type St. John up in the top right-hand corner, and then from there I can choose ISSs or whatever I want. So this is ISS passes for the next week for St. John, courtesy of heavensabove.com. So here we are on Monday night. So we've got two nice passes Monday night, 22:08 and 23:46. That's not very far apart, right? Only about 90 minutes. That's about how long it takes for the ISS to orbit the Earth. So one of them there is a 73 degree altitude. So that's almost right overhead, just about. And the other one is quite a bit lower. But we look for a large minus number. The larger the minus number, the brighter the object is. So we got a minus 3.6 and a minus 3.8. That's about as bright as Venus is. So it's fairly bright. Then again on the 17th, we have one at 9:20 and one at 22:57. Another one at 73-degree pass. On the 18th, the same thing. We've got one at minus 2.3 and minus 1.6. On the 20th again, and then on the 22nd again. So you've got 2 passes per evening on those number of nights, those 5 nights. So lots of opportunity to get out and take a look. If clouds are blocking your way the first time around, hopefully they're not on the second time. And here's an example. This is one on May 16th. So there's the pass from 2207 to 2217. So that's almost 10 minutes across the sky. And it passes right by, there's the Ursa Major, or the Big Dipper, and you can see the bottom star in the pot of the Big Dipper. It passes right by that. So that'll give you a good orientation when you're watching for it. Also, of course, the sun has still been very active. We've got lots of sunspots happening. If you're a solar observer at all, then you want to get out. This is a time to be out because we've got several sunspots on the sun today. This is our sun today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groupings of sunspots. There's a big one coming around the corner here now that's already producing C-class solar flares. We think that's the one that was took 2 weeks to go around the sun, that 2993 that was out around last week that was really active. So that's coming around the corner, so it's still active apparently. So we'll see what that's like in a couple of days. And of course, St. John Astronomy Club does have their own calendar, so you can go to sjastronomy.ca. You can get the May-June calendar with list all the regular events or the celestial events that you want to watch for the months of May and June. That's right up to June 18th. And I'd like to promote Lisa as well. Lisa's Lookup, Astronomy More. Go to her Facebook page and like it and follow it. She's on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as well at Ruby Moonbeams. And she has all the events listed here as well with the dates and the peak times, when's the best time to be viewing those events, and whether you need a naked eye, binoculars, or a telescope. So that's what's happening this week. That's all I got to say about that there.
There you go. It's like a box of chocolates. Life's like a box of
Just like
chocolates.
peas and carrots.
You never know what you're going to get.
Well, that's not true because they give you a picture of the chocolates in the box. You can tell exactly what you're going to get.
Yeah. It depends on the chocolates you buy.
But the picture's inside the box, so you got to buy it first.
Well, that's true.
Right.
That's the whole point.
That's the whole point.
Anyway, my mic was off when Mike had mentioned what Renat said about can we clear the noise from the clouds.
Oh.
And my statement was that all we need to do is get on one of those planes that we're trying to get out of our picture, and we get above the clouds, and we can.
Yeah, there you go.
That's it.
That'll work too.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's bring up Mike Guyver, if you don't mind. Mike?
Sure. Now I just got to shuffle
Mike
some
Guyver?
pages around here. There's the start. And I want entire screen. This guy. We should see the gears and cogs coming up here.
Oh, he's taking.
He's still thinking. Yeah, look at that.
Mike Guyver's tip of the week. So, when you lose your 1 1/4 eyepiece cap.
Oh, this is my
Plenty
favorite.
Dust caps are 1 1/4 in size. As long as the night skies are clear, the chances you'll be outside and under them observing the night sky. Unfortunately, you just finished a night of observing. When you pack up, you're missing your 1 1/4 dust caps off your telescope. Well, it's morning and you decide to go to breakfast before you finish packing your gear. That's where you find the solution to your dust cap issues. What do? You order breakfast. Get yourself 2 eggs, some bacon, some hash browns, and toast. Okay? With your toast comes butter. When you get your butter, look at the container it comes in. Guess what? Often it'll fit your 1 1/4 dust cap hole in your telescope. Peel off the top, use the butter on your toast, and save the container. Wash the container, and I guarantee you have yourself an emergency dust cap. Disaster averted. There's proof in the pictures, and if you might laugh at this MacGyver tip, suck it up, Buttercup. It worked. And Paul and Chris can attest to this because it happened at Fundy National Park.
It did.
Yes,
it did. Yeah,
absolutely.
you were picking the butter things off the table. I remember.
And that's my MacGyver tip of the week. Save your Buttercup.
No, Mike, that's from one of the butters things you've done.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, why?
I'm telling you, we talked about that when Mike showed us that at Fundy. It was just the most amazing thing, and
Oh, yeah.
I think that's where that came from, the whole Macgyver thing.
I think it
I
is.
think so,
Yep,
yeah.
it is. Yep, yep. Are you gonna eat that butter? Mike says, "Are you gonna eat that butter?" Don't send that back. Yeah, that's an awesome one. Works every time.
I love it.
Don't get the square butter ones. They don't
No.
fit.
Yeah. And make sure it's not parquet. Butter.
Butter. How about Rosanna's fun facts?
We can do that. All right, so let me just share my screen. You're just trying to butter me up. It's going to go on over tonight. And here is this week's
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Hey!
Well, welcome back, Rosanna. Good to see you again. And she has got another wonderful Rosanna's Fun Fact for this week. And it's actually very timely, as it always is, but it's even more so with a lot of the things that Mike was talking about early, and you'll see it as we go through it, and some of the things that Chris was talking about. So it ties it in with all that. So let's just get right into it. So she says, "Hi, Paul. You guys likely have the eclipse all well covered, so I stuck to the sun this week. Of course, without the sun, we wouldn't have Earth's penumbra or umbra. All the gorgeous sunny weather this past week has made me made for great solar observing and has definitely inspired gratitude for the star that keeps us alive. In the past few weeks, there have been some spectacular captures of our hot star. On Tuesday, May the 3rd, NASA posted this stunning footage of a powerful solar flare, and it was in the bottom left. So right here, that big flare that came off. And so this is from NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory, captured this image of a solar flare as seen as the bright flash in the bottom left portion of the image. This was on May the 3rd. Now, as you know, solar flares release intense radiation, but Earth's atmosphere presents this radiation from harming life. However, if the radiation burst is powerful enough, it can certainly disturb the atmosphere in the layer where GPS and communication signals travel. 3 weeks ago, this close-up active regions 2992 and 2994 was posted. Each sunspot is so gigantic it could swallow Earth whole. A unique space snapshot also crossed my screen. This is what Mike was talking about earlier. And so space snapshot. So this is not uncommon to spot the International Space Station as a light moving across the sky just after sunset or before sunrise, when the sun's light reflects reflects off of it. The view you see here, though, is far from common. Chinese astrophotographer Wang Liqian used a solar telescope and specialized camera to capture this series of photos combined into a single image of the ISS passing in front of the sun, which was the transits that Mike was talking about. You can see several gaseous prominences around the edge of the sun, as well as the dark sunspot. Imaging credit, of course, was the Wang Liqian. And breaking news for Wednesday, the 11th, NASA spotted the strong solar flare being fired out from the sunspot AR 3006. This sunspot is considered to be a mixed-up spot as its polarity is in the reverse of what scientists were expecting. This makes it exciting and possibly dangerous. There is an explanation that a solar storm will hit the that a solar storm will hit the Earth soon, and it may already have by the time this fun fact is on the air. So if you go here, now I'm going to find those videos. Just give me 1 second. There's a video to show, and I don't know if I can get it to come up or not. No, not there. Where did I put it? Not there. Oh, I'll have to hit. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, can I get them to go all together at the same time? Good. Okay, there we are. Now I just got to find my news notes again. There we go. So there's an explanation of solar storm. So if you go here, which is where I just put this is EarthSky.org. There is a multi-wave slide going through different wavelengths observed by the Solar Dynamics Observatory on Tuesday, May the 10th. May 10, and this is an X-class flare. The sun activity images start with a magnetogram and then transition to a white light image followed by a sequence of 1700, 304, 171, 183, 211, 334, 94, and 131 angstroms. The X flare even produced an EIT wave, a sort of tsunami on the sun's surface. And here's the tweet wave, which is that one right there. Scientists also observed a weak rare solar flare effect called a magnetic crochet. Crochets are a sudden change in Earth's magnetic field caused by the generation of electric currents high in Earth's ionosphere. In other words, the sudden X-ray burst temporarily changes this layer of our atmosphere. Tuesday's X flare also caused a radial blackout over Earth's day side. Plus, associated with the X flare almost simultaneously, region AR 3007 produced a C4.7 flare and CME. And here's a 10-second actual clip of that flare. Kaboom. Unbelievable, eh? So as of May the 2nd, a coronal hole is growing up in the north side. This way, this was a busy week for the sun, so you can see the coronal holes growing up in there. So while many of us last week were perhaps enjoying the warmth with a beverage deck side, the sun was having a hot flash. Oh, you gotta love these photos. She gets it. She reminds me of Mike stuff. And that is this week's.
There it is.
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Hey!
Thank you so much, Rosanna. Another absolutely wonderful and timely fun fact.
Awesome. Yeah, the sun is very active lately, and that X flare, yeah, producing a tsunami like that, it's crazy. Like, not just the X flare, but a tsunami actually rippling across the face of the sun. They believe it went all the way to the other side of the sun.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rosanna. And thanks, Paul, for covering that. Okay, we're going to go to our photos, I guess, then, to close out the evening.
Yeah.
So let me see if I can get them opened up here. And I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go with this one. And I just need to get my notes. Okay, 1 second, almost there. Okay, let's bring up some photos. Let's bring them up on the right screen, first of all. There we go. There, we've got this one from Claire. Claire's on here tonight, I believe. Claire Newman. Claire said, just thought I'd share with you first quarter moon from the other night. So this was from last week. Actually, I just missed her post from last week, so got to share it this week.
Nice shot.
Very
nice
nice.
Shot, huh? Thanks, Claire.
Yeah.
Matthew Dupre sent this one in, his shot of Copernicus. He said a little bit blurry, but that's a hard one to get anyway, to get in much closer than that. So that's about 3.8 kilometers deep, and it's about 93 kilometers across. And those two mountain peaks in the center there are about 2 kilometers high each.
Exactly.
Unless you got perfect skies, you're going to have that.
Yeah, but even so, I mean, look at the detail and terrace walls. There's actually there's 3 peaks inside that.
3,
Yeah.
yes, right. Yeah.
And you got them all. So
Oh, well done.
So
fantastic.
you'd be driving inside that crater from St. John to Moncton, basically,
Yeah.
or from St. John to Fredericton for sure, and you wouldn't step outside the crater. Crazy.
Crazy.
Crazy, I tell you, crazy. Okay, right from there, I got to go to something different, though. I think I got to bring this one up first.
And now for something completely different.
Yeah, more.
Can we get one of those things, Mike?
It might fit in that circular spot. Big buttercup.
Okay, let's. So this is Matthew's time lapse he sent in. So let's get back to the first here.
There you go.
Oh yeah. Boy, he was shooting for a while, wasn't he?
I think so, yeah.
Hey,
Oh yeah, that thing's just keeping going and going. That's fantastic. I must have been an all-nighter for him.
Well done.
never gets old though. I love time
Well,
lapse.
love them.
Yeah.
Me too. Okay, thanks for that, Matthew.
Yeah, well done.
We're going to go to Alan Legier now. Alan says was out on May the 9th and got a few photos of the lunar straight wall. Was taken with my 6-inch reflector, 15 millimeter eyepiece, and the Samsung Galaxy A12 cell phone.
Wow, nice job.
They say
Some say it looks like a
clear.
sword. I think it looks like a musket.
a musket.
Yeah, it does look like
Yeah,
a
it does.
musket.
Yeah,
I
kind
see a
of.
musket.
Yeah,
A
it does.
lunar musket. I think
There
we'll
you go.
rename it.
Okay. He said zoomed into 10 times on the second photo. Actually, this is the first photo, I guess, and the
Yeah,
other one was the second
yeah.
photo. So
you
also
go.
had a 2 times Bardo lens on both shots. So well done. Nice, lots of definition
Well
there.
done. Nice shot.
So that's just I mean, it looks like it's a cliff or a rock face, basically, but it's not. It's just a rolling slope. So if you stood on that at the top and you were starting to walk down, you would hardly even notice that you're going down the slope. About a 7-degree or so slope, apparently. It stretches out over. It's 110 kilometers long, but it stretches out over a few kilometers. But it's just the way that the sun hits that angle, right?
Yeah.
And if you actually, this is on first quarter, of course. But if you go to the third quarter moon, it disappears. It's there, but it's not there. So because the sunlight's coming in from the other side.
Nice shot.
Yeah, great. Thanks for that. It was Alan. We're going to go to David Samard now with a shot of the moon. Give us moon.
Nice shot, Dave.
Nice phase, eh?
Well done, Dave. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Lots of detail there. There's Plato. Not Play-Doh, but Plato. In his sun shots, a couple of sun shots he sent in.
Yeah.
He's been doing a lot of the sun shots. Yeah.
Yeah.
For his little 60 millimeter scope.
Yeah.
And
Duck-
for those folks who don't know that, the sun and the moon, as far as your camera are concerned, are the same size.
Right.
So if you can shoot one, you can shoot the other.
There you go. Just don't look at the lens. Don't look through the finder scope to find it. One you can and one you can't.
Yeah, that's right.
This is from Duckman Arsenault. Duckman sent this one in from his daytime moon. Here's
Nice
another
detail
one.
on a daytime moon.
Not bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, wow, eh?
Yeah.
Look at the Apennines. Wow.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
That's a nice shot.
Mountains on the moon. Mountains on the moon. There we are. There's the Apennines again. There's Eratosthenes. He's the guy that first calculated the circumference of the Earth. That's why he got a crater named after him. He probably should have anyway. Copernicus would be right in here. So, and then he's got a couple of shots over Fort Howe.
For now, yeah.
Ooh, that's a nice picture.
Yeah.
It is. Very nice shot.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Here's a close up of it. Good
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
Duckman. So thanks for those.
Yeah, well done.
Chris Bollock sent this one in.
There you
Chris says, there, no, that's, I've attached a picture. He's been doing a number of these, he says. I've attached a picture taken of the moon in a passing jet this afternoon. This is May the 8th. Specs are full frame camera, a 300 millimeter lens, heavily cropped, DHL jet on a 7,000 kilometer flight from Leipzig, Germany to Cincinnati, Ohio. Cool.
Yes, sir. That's neat.
I love those, eh?
And we're not going to sing that song.
No,
yeah,
you know
no,
what?
no, that's,
No.
yeah, that's
There's,
great.
There's a site that you can go on for the, that you can actually find when planes are going to be at a certain trajectory to get these.
Yeah.
I think,
Oh,
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's similar to the ISS site I have. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, you can time these.
Oh,
believe
that's
it or not.
awesome. Great shot. Okay, from there we're going to go to a couple more movies. I think here we are. Yeah, going to go to Jordan Michael here. I'm going to bring that up a second.
So Michael Jordan?
The other Jordan. Yeah, the other one. The Jordan Michael. This would be one of them here. So this is yeah, watch this shot and watch what happens over here in the distance. So he asked me what it might have been. Look at that. Pew.
There you go.
Wow.
Nice bullseye.
Yeah.
So yeah, he said, was that a meteor? I said, I would have to say probably.
Or a plane crash.
It's a bolide, isn't it?
What's that?
Very nice.
No.
It's a bolide, I think.
And he had another one here too. So this is from his neighbors, I think.
That'd be something to see, wouldn't it? I've never seen one like that.
Yes, off a security camera.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yes, sir.
Wow, eh?
Wow, that's a double. See, it flashed twice.
Let's try it once more.
1, 2. It gets bright. And twice.
Flares up the back of it and everything, eh?
Yeah.
Just, well,
So that's 4:24 on the 10th, I think it said. Did it? 10th, yeah. So I actually had an email from, or somebody sent me a message in my page just asked on the 11th, said, did anybody report anything about a meteor sighting yesterday? I said, no, not that I've heard of. And then he sent these ones in and said, look what I caught on my camera. So I get the message back to that person again to let them know that, that yes, indeed, they did see something. They were coming from the Pro, heading back to St. John, I guess, and they looked out and saw this one. So
I was out having my coffee, and I watched one come over my head. It was headed basically northeast to southwest, and it was bright. But it didn't look as bright as that, but it didn't make it to the horizon, from my perspective anyway.
okay,
At the same time, that's awesome.
yeah.
Renat says that's a firecracker in Back Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Mary Craig sent these ones in. The moon was sure gorgeous, she said tonight. This is the other day, last night, I guess.
Nice shot.
Yeah, beauty.
Yeah.
And this one of the Pendlebury Lighthouse in St. Andrews.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Wow,
Just beautiful.
Yeah.
great job capturing those, Mary. Kathy Adams sent this one. Sunshot between clouds and a tree branch.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wonder if that's what that little dent in the top of the sun is.
Up here. Yeah, might be.
That's probably the tree branch,
Probably
and then the
tree branch,
faded
yeah.
clouds you see
Yeah.
coming across the top. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice
Well
shot.
done. Nice shot. And her
Oh,
shot
that's
of the
a
moon shot with lots of clouds.
Beautiful.
That's nice.
The odd break, she said. Yep, you caught it nicely. This one I think is Robert Cadet's. Yes, Robert. Moon fog flare. He says this was taken with my Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultraphone and handheld.
There you go.
Well done for
Nice
handheld.
shot.
Yep.
Yep.
Lots of humidity in the air lately for us, of course. Joey Croswell, Sombrero Galaxy. Joey
Joey.
got himself a new scope and he's been
Yeah.
having a lot of fun. So I'm
Yeah.
very, very happy to show his
Hey,
photos
getting
here.
some nice shots with it.
Yeah,
Sombrero.
Sombrero, eh? I love the
Yeah.
Sombrero. That's just a fascinating galaxy to
Nice
me.
shot.
Well done.
Very nice.
Yeah, little Sombrero. Okay, and from there, this is his moonshot
Nice.
capture. Very
You can
nice.
see the straight wall.
Should be right.
Go to
Yeah.
your left.
Oh, there it is, right there. Yeah,
Nice
sir.
shot.
right beside the drunken snowman. That's what I call him. This one here. He's upside down. Okay, and then final shot here we got from Ian Bloom late today, but Ian says, greetings again from down under. The skies have been very ordinary of late, so capturing images hasn't been on the agenda. Here's an image of the Eagle Nebula captured around August of last year. 200 seconds of exposure at 6400 ISO, taken with my 1400 HD Celestron Pro with a 0.7 reducer through my stock 700D Canon. Nice, huh?
There's the pillars.
There it
You
is.
got it.
Yep, the pillars of creation.
Very nice.
Well done. Thanks, Ian. Great shots, everybody. And so if you'd like to send in your photos, we love to get them, of course, and we love sharing them. So you can send them into Sunday Night Astronomy Show at gmail.com or send them into snaz at astronomybythebay.ca. And we'd be happy to share them here for you.
Happy, happy.
Happy, happy. Just going to go back to our full screen here before we close out the evening, I guess. Oh, I guess we're a pretty good time in there. So I guess in closing tonight, we'd like to thank all of you again for your continued support. I'd also like to thank Rosanna once again for another interesting fun fact segment. Thank you, Rosanna, for the constant contributions there. We always appreciate the contributions to the program. But we also hope that those of you who have joined us from Rogers enjoyed the program. If you would like more information about the wonders of the night sky, just contact me at astronomybythebay.ca. And thank you to all of my followers on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram as well, who continue to share our broadcasts with your family and friends, such as the NB Storm and Weather Center, our friend Sean out there, Trudy, who shares it to a number of pages for us, and everybody else out there who shares it. We really appreciate it. Remember, we do love getting your photos, so send them into snaz@astronomybythebay.ca or Sunday Night Astronomy Show at gmail.com, and we'll be happy to include them on our next broadcast. We're always looking for suggestions for future shows, too, for topics, so you can send them into the same address, please. And please let your friends and family know that we are here every Sunday night at 8 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook to entertain you on astronomy and the wonders of the night sky. Now, for those of you who are going to stay online a little bit later, I'm going to put up a couple of links here. I might share somebody else's live link. NASA, if you go to nasa.gov, they do have a live view of the lunar eclipse tonight. Two other ones are Explore Scientific channel. He has a live feed going on tonight as well. And timeanddate.com. So all three of those are on YouTube. So just search out any one of those. Explore Scientific, timeanddate.com, or nasa.gov. And Scott out in Winnipeg may be sharing his feed too. So I'll be checking on that one. I might be popping up with 3 or 4 different feeds. So
isn't Morris so Stewart? Is he doing? I think he's doing one too.
Maurice Stewart?
Mike, the fellow, Mike.
Yeah, it is Maurice Stewart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're going to be hoping to get some clear sky somewhere there, so we'll get a chance to look at some part of the eclipse anyway. So I'll try to go live here in a little while to try to simulcast something. So for now, then, from Mike, Paul, and I, we wish you a safe and happy week out there. Lots and lots of clear skies. Let's hope. As we like to say, guys, open your eyes to view the skies, and keep your scopes pointed up. Point it up, Mike. There, that's good.
I was looking for that website.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.